All right, welcome everybody to Geek Philosophy presents Ventas, Relics of the Ancients, and we all love geeky wisdom, as we say every time. And thanks for joining us again. I'm Brian. I'll be DMing this thing, and to my right on the screen, we've got Carrie, who's playing Henrik. Right below me, we've got Crystal playing Riva, and to the right of her on the screen, at least, is Melanie, who's playing Alora.
Hey.
All right. Hey, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good.
Hi. Yes.
Doing
Thanks.
all right. How about you?
I am doing well, thanks. Ready to get back into this. Although,
Yeah.
trips to Vegas are important, so.
Oh yeah.
you
Oh
know.
yeah. It's good to be home though.
It's fun.
Yes, it's good to be home.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's just jump right in. We will talk a little bit about what we did in between sessions or what the characters did in between sessions, but I'm going to jump right into getting things started. So here we go. So after the decisions that you made in your last session, when you were talking to Dean Alexandrin, and it turns out that there is some type of activity happening centered around some ancient relics, and it looks as if one of your friends, Javin, was affected by the relic, or at least something around that. And so, with the help of all of you combined, meeting up on the road and a chance happening, as happens in every D&D game, you were able to find out some more information from the dean, and then make some plans to not only get Javin restored, but also to get him back to his family, back in your hometown of Angaro. So those were some of the things that we had discussed going through the last part of the session. The other thing was you were asked if you wanted to investigate this, and Henrik, as a member of the Athenaeum, was called upon even earlier, before all of this kind of went down, and was asked to come meet with the dean. And so it turns out a lot of this might be connected. So with the three of you teaming up, you're kind of charged with going to leave Ventia and head to the Beyondstar Expanse. So as you are preparing for this journey, I know some of you had some ideas. Let's just take a minute. Is there anything that you needed to do or wanted to do while you were there in Ventia before you set out? I will say this: you're going to be provided with some directions with a map. I'll talk you through it rather than provide you an actual physical map, because it's more or less that you have the directions on how to get where you're supposed to go. So I'll let you know as you travel through. But before you leave through sort of some precarious terrain, because this is going to be through the mountains, after you get out of the farmland through the Beyondstar Expanse, and so you're going to have to go on foot, because horses won't really make it through the mountains that way. So it's going to be interesting. So what kind of preparations did you think about doing in between game sessions? What do you want to make sure that I'm checking in with you on to make sure that you've got covered? I'll start with Crystal. Anything that you had planned for Riva?
Well, really, basically, the only thing was trying to uh, figure out what we were doing with the wagon. If we couldn't find the owners or a family member, then if it's not going to be feasible to take it into the mountains or sell it to get horses, then I guess Javin and maybe Quinn can use it on their journey back if they would like to. We can't really take it, so
Yeah, I think that probably makes the most sense, and especially since even after Javin is restored, he's still going to be very fatigued, and there's a lot going on that is still unknown. So I will tell you this: that as you were checking in on him and making sure that you understood what's going on, he was so out of it that he wasn't really able to speak to many people. He was brought back, but there's just something that is still, he's not in a coma or anything, but it's to the point where he's just so exhausted. He recognizes faces, he recognizes people, but he just really needs rest. So it may make the most sense to use the wagon to transport him back so he can get to his brother and sort of take the time he needs to restore himself.
And rest along the way.
Yep, and rest along the way as best as he can. So I think that's a great way to do it. However, you were able to spread the word a little bit about what happened, and so there are people that are trying to find out who the rightful owners were and try to make sure that people know if there's any family to communicate with them. But because these types of wagons are kind of freelance type of operations, actually the order of the freelance is being connected. And all three of you would know that the freelancers are adventurers or merchants or people that are going out on their own, but they're licensed to do that, so they're not having to be tied to any specific government. And so they get a license so that they can either sell things or go explore without the banner of a flag or country or organization or something like that, so they can go do things on their own. So word's been sent out to try to find out what who the family is for them. So
Okay.
I think you're covered in that aspect.
Okay. Well, the only other thing really with her is, I was collecting herbs and things along the way, so I wanted to see if I could make a couple of potions or a potion or start the process, whichever.
Yeah, I think that makes sense since you were collecting things along the way and things were kind of rushed in sort of the way everybody came together. So let's do this. Let's roll a d4 and see how many potions you were able to create given the stuff you were able to put together while you were traveling. And anything that you were missing, you were able to pick up while you're in Ventia. So we'll see. This is how many potions you're able to.
4.
You have 4 potions of healing. Minor healing potions that you have access to.
Woohoo!
There you go.
Hello.
And those were crafted by you, so you can decide what they look like, what they taste like, all that kind of stuff. Those are your potions. So whatever you want them to be.
Okay.
Nothing nasty.
No, they're just going to be a beautiful, swirly red strawberry flavor.
Okay, that
Nice.
sounds great. All right, awesome. Let's see. Was there anything Henrik was going to do while he was in town before leaving?
So first money situation, I don't have a lot of money. I've got 10 gold pieces. So, is it as far as like a horse goes or anything? Can I like rent a horse, or would the dean allow me to borrow a horse for this situation? Unsure of that at first.
Well, like what I was saying before is the where you're going, it's not really great horse territory. You're going to have to, through the mountains there, it's going to be a lot of footpaths and things. So in our world, think about like the Appalachian Trail, right? Like where it's really kind of windy and trails that are, one person wide and a lot of
Okay,
circumstances.
where
Okay.
we're going, is it cold or hot
It-
or
it is
what's
chilly.
the weather?
Yeah, that's a great question. It is chilly,
Okay.
especially this time of year. And when you get up in the mountains, it's going to get a lot colder.
Okay.
Okay, so the whole way is mountainous, even like straight out of town, kind of. There's
No, but there's nowhere to drop the like. Sorry, go ahead.
You'll lose a horse.
yeah, so enough that it's not advantageous to bring a horse, even
Yeah.
if you have to put it like a mountain village or something.
Not much farther than the distance that Riva and Alora traveled, which is definitely doable on foot. And there's not really any place to send the horse. Like it's not like there's a settlement or a town in between. You get past the farmlands and then you're in the foothills of the mountains and you start climbing.
Okay, and that leads me to kind of my next question is so Henrik would be doing any sort of like research on the area or town, something that he doesn't know already, kind of like a scholarly way to just be researching in the libraries of the tower to see if he can learn anything about the area
Awesome.
and buy a coat to see if we can get a fur coat.
Yeah. So one of the things that you'll get a stipend from the Athenaeum. So you have 50 gold that you can use for any provisions that you might need. So that's something that is yours that you could definitely use to get the coat. If you could roll a investigation check for me, and we'll find out what kind of things you learned about the area that you're going to.
Seven.
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear. Okay.
What was that face?
Yeah.
That was a 7.
That's what that was. So, so luckily, being a member of the Athenaeum and being right there, you're able to find out some information. In general, where you're going to end up going is outside of the village of Thornmoor in the Austin Reach. So this is right over the border into the Austin Reach, and sort of if you move too far, you'll be right in the outskirts of Thornmoor, which is not a good idea. So that's basically all you know, is that that's where it is. It's sort of Thornmoor itself was built on some type of ruins, but it's now mainly inhabited by goblins and kobolds and lizard folk and other creatures of that area. But this type of year, especially as the weather is turning, they tend to be very protective of their settlement, and not many people go into that area. So you've learned that much, that wherever you have for the map to kind of stick to the map, like, so you don't go too far into that part of the area.
Got it. Thanks. Yep. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. All right. And what about Alora? Anything that she was planning on doing?
Warm clothes.
There you go. Okay.
And if we're going to be climbing a mountain, maybe some climbing tools. I already have rope, right?
You do. Yes.
Okay, so definitely some like climbing stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, so you're able to kind of outfit yourselves in clothes for the journey. You're also able to find some pretty decent mountaineering equipment fairly easily. I would say of everybody's stipend that you got, you're only spending about 5 gold of what was given to you, just in
So
some of the basics
That
that you
stipend
need.
was for everyone then?
Yeah, everybody got 50.
Okay.
All right. So, here we go. So after,
we also wanted to know about the light disc. I'm sorry.
oh yeah. So
We were going to see if Henrik or the dean could tell us about the disc.
yeah. So Henrik, I'm not sure if did you by any chance while you were there research and pick up any different spells? What they were trying to do is identify what the light disc that they got, the little stone discs. Is that something you can do, or is that something that the dean would have to do?
Yeah, I think the dean would have to do it.
Okay. So in talking with him, he was able to say that it's a new creation. It's not something that was, and you saw it created, so it's not like it's news to you that happened. It's not a common item like healing potion or something like that people could go purchase. However, he does seem to think that it stores sunlight and gives sunlight off, and that's really its main function. So yes, in a way, it's really just tapping it and you get light. It's a tap light, but in some ways, it's not an artificial or specifically. It's magically storing the light, but it's not a magic light, if that makes sense. It's sunlight that's absorbed.
So it's
Riva,
like the Starlight Roadway?
Yeah, I was going to say, Riva, you kind of put it together that, especially from what you heard from Javin, that this is very similar to the Starlight Roadway, because Javin used to complain, oh, they named that thing wrong. It should be called the Sunlight Roadway because it stores the sunlight, but everybody else calls it the Starlight Roadway because of it being out at night and it twinkles like stars. So this is magic that's similar to that.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. Anything else before we head out?
Is it possible to ask around to see if there's anybody, farmers, whoever, going that way? We can hitch a ride and not walk and get
Good
dropped
idea.
off close.
Yeah, totally.
To
So
the mountains.
yes, so totally you
Good
could kind of get a cart ride leading out into through through the outskirts of Ventia and through some of the farmlands? Absolutely. So we'll take it from that perspective as you move through. So after you leave Ventia, like I mentioned, you're traveling through the Beyondsar Expanse, and the Beyondsar Expanse is the area around Ventia leading to, in your case, the direction that you're going, to the edge of the mountains that is sort of the border between this area of the Empire and the Austin Reach. And so as you go through the farmland, it's relatively easy. You've got some help to get you along your way, but also you're able to take some time to get acquainted further. So each of you are able to kind of talk a little bit more as you're riding along in the wagon, sharing stories, understanding a little bit more about each other, and a little bit more about each other's capability. I won't say anything that you want to keep secret, but anything that you feel like, just common knowledge, you're becoming acquainted more, you know each other a little bit better. You have a few jokes as you, kind of met in very dire circumstances. It's become a little bit of a lighter tone as you're traveling, because you're actually able to see each other for people instead of just the individuals that you met on the road. And so you kind of learn a little bit about each other, and then as you are reaching the end of where the wagons are taking you, you start moving out on your own and heading out on foot up to the beginning of the foothill. And Spiros provided you with a map and a description of the ruins. So not just a map on how to get there, but also a basic outline of what to expect when you see the ruins. And at least the known description that he had in the Athenaeum's records. Like, there's not a whole lot of information about this, but he was able to find, scrawled on some parchment somewhere, this is what this is likely to be. But really, the journey is now just beginning, because as you venture into the Thornmoor Mountains, right at the border, you are getting very closer, and you can feel, in addition to the cold air of the mountains, you sort of feel that looming threat of knowing that you're heading to the Austin Reach. And just from the stories that you heard of the unbridled wilderness that it is and the people that live there, it sends a little bit of a chill up your spine when you kind of look out and see the mountains and know that it's not your homeland anymore. You're heading to somewhere that's a little bit dangerous. So what I'd like to do is we're going to start off the game with a skill challenge. So I want you to think about, as you're journeying through the mountains, some of you in real life may have been through mountains on foot, some of you haven't, but you can kind of think about what it's like to travel through paths that are very narrow and have to every once in a while scale over a small, boulder type of rock, or the creatures and the wildlife that might be in that area. And also, what you can do as the person that you are to aid yourselves along this journey. So what I'd like to do is we're going to say from here on that it's going to take 5 days worth of travel. So on each day, I'd like you all to explain something in your skill set or your abilities or your spells, whatever it is that you have at your disposal, and what you would do to help make progress through this journey. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go sort of in order just to make it a little easier to think through. So I'm going to go Carrie, Crystal, Melanie, or Henrik, Riva, Alora, and then you just kind of explain what happens. Now, I will say this. If two people are using the same skill or the same thing, it's going to be harder. Because, you kind of you have to sort of think outside the box a little bit. If you come up with something new, and you can think of anything you want, it doesn't matter if it's on your sheet or whatever. I just want you to think of something that you could do to help yourself on the journey. Some things are going to require a roll. I've got certain challenge ratings for each thing, and other things might be instant success, depending on what it is. So let's start with Henrik. So Henrik's traveling through. He's met his friends, and what is something that you would do to help make the journey go smoother?
Meaning self-help kind of thing, or for the mission itself?
So either, right? So just making it through the mountains, things that you would do for the team, whatever you feel like is going to be helpful to make it through the day.
Like I'm going hunting.
Oh, okay. Let's do that. Let's start with Alora. So, Alora, along the way in day 1, you're going to go hunting. Let's see if you are successful.
Yeah.
So, let's roll a survival check.
Okay, which one is that? Remind me.
That's okay. So you roll into D20, so the big one,
Okay.
and then we're going to
Okay.
look on your sheet for survival whenever we get that.
Okay. I got a 20.
What? Started
I
off the
got
game
a
right.
20.
Yes.
Sweet. First one.
Nice.
Plus 5, so 25.
Awesome. All
We
right.
got
Good,
food for
y'all.
days.
We are eating good.
That is awesome. Okay, so yeah, I will say with that 20, and when you add your stuff, what did you get? Because it's way over 20.
25.
25. Okay, so with that 25, I would say that you're able to hunt and forage and get enough food that will last for all 5 days. On the first day, you're able to like make sure that you have enough stuff that you're able to prepare and give yourself enough food. You've got your rations, but it's much better to cook a nice warm meal. So awesome. Yeah, you're able to. So what do you think you might have gotten in the mountains? What do you think you might?
Squirrels, rabbits, birds. We're going to eat good.
All right.
Anything we can find there. Yeah,
There you
anything
go.
that tastes good. Maybe if we're
Some
near
mutton.
some streams, I caught some fish. Yeah, some
Awesome.
rosemary and some herbs for everything. We're going to eat good.
I like it.
Donate those.
Yes, there you go. We're going good.
Great. All right. So we've got we have a great success already for first day and the food for the other day. So what else do we have going on that first day besides the food? Food's covered, which is great. Anybody else want to go?
I'm still keeping an eye out for any herbs, flowers, anything along that. I'm donating the seasonings and oils, whatever we need to cook up a good meal. I'm also, what's our weather like?
So the weather is right now. It's not raining, but it is chilly, and it's getting colder as you go into the mountains or as you get higher in elevation. And it's very foggy.
Okay. So then I would like to just cast, whether it's Druidcraft or Gust, whatever it is, to kind of try to clear out the fog so that we have better sight.
Okay, great. So as you're able to move through the way, you cast Druidcraft, and the fog sort of clears along the path. So you at the very least, you know that the path that you're going is the right one, and that you've got it far enough ahead that you're not veering into the direction that might be dangerous, right? So very good. So we'll count that as another success for day 1.
Yeah, and that's a cantrip, so I don't have to. It just happens, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And Henrik, what's Henrik got?
Mine was planning to. I want to keep detailed notes of the adventure in a journal, so we can have like a detailed report, kind of a tome to be able to rely on.
Gotcha. So what types of things are you recording? Like the area where you're traveling? Is it the steps along the trail? What type of things are you noting down?
Yeah, everything. So with the fauna, weather patterns, terrain, probably amateur cartography would be involved as well to track through that. I'll be looking forward to into the adventure, like if there's any architecture we encounter, to try to identify how old or where that came from, if there's any differences in that. So really kind of everything. And then once we get into any action, it would be obviously after that we would document what exactly happened between our party itself.
Awesome. So let's say we're gonna do a perception check for the general observation of everything, but I'm going to give you advantage because you're also skilled with cartographer's tools, and so that will make it a little bit easier for you to sort of jot the notes down about the maps, because even though you're not necessarily making an entire map the way you would at home, like you're able to make really good field notes. So with advantage, you can make a perception check.
I got a 13.
Okay, so yeah, so you're keeping great notes as time goes through, and each person during this day has done an amazing job keeping things going. Right, no issues. You're eating well. You are able to see where you're going, and because of Riva's clearing out the fog a little bit, Henrik is able to kind of take note of a few things. Henrik, you do note that you are seeing, as you look into the distance in a couple of the areas that are cleared from the fog, that there seem to be some obelisks that are not frequent, but every once in a while you'll see these stone obelisks that pop up. Can you roll a history check for me?
$23.
Yeah, so great. With the 23, you're able to tell almost immediately after looking at them that they look to be from the Donran Empire. And so this is an ancient civilization that was rumored to be in this area. And this kind of confirms after going through some of these woods and just the fog leaving in a certain way and being able to see, you're able to kind of note a couple of these obelisks that are definitely of Donran make.
How do you spell that?
Donrin.
I almost had it right. I put an E in it instead of an I.
Awesome. Okay, so first day is good. Let's go to the second day. So now, second day of travel. Now we've got food. We know that because that lasted for a few days. What different stuff are you going to try to do to keep things moving? So this, again, you could do the same stuff as you did previously, but it gets a little harder if you do that. So what are new things that you would do along the way to make your journey better? So luckily you, and by the way, just for everybody else that's watching, teachable moment on this is a skill challenge. So the way I run skill challenges is that there's different rounds. I'm equating a round to a day, so everybody gets a chance in that round. And a skill challenge has a number of successes that you need or a number of failures. If you succeed, great, you progress through, good things happen. If you fail at some things, then you earn some consequences that make the next thing harder. Right, so luckily everybody's doing great. So since this is the first real skill challenge of the game, I just wanted to explain how it went so you guys know what's going on. So second day, what are we doing today?
I'm gonna scout the area and make sure we're still safe and pick up firewood as I am going along checking everything out.
Love it. So this will be a survival check, but even though it's the same check, it's doing it with a different spin, so I'm fine with that.
Okay. 16.
Awesome. So scouting the area, you're able to pick up some things along the way, and one of the things that you notice is that there are some rental trees that are growing, and the rental trees, the branches that have fallen, you're able to collect some of those as you go. They're not that frequent, but as you walk, every time you see one, you pick it up. Because one thing that you know is that the rental wood burns very clean, very hot, and leaves almost no smoke. So it's great when you're trying to be careful through the wilderness because you can, light these fires at night and have a cook fire or something else. And unless someone is directly looking at your fire, they're not going to see the smoke somewhere else, or smell it. So it's a great find. Awesome.
Now, as I'm scouting, is there anything that's in our midst that's bad? Are we safe?
So that's a good question. So nothing out of the ordinary as far as creatures or things like that. It's just the terrain that's the hardest thing right now. You guys are moving a little slower than you might normally, but that's just because, you're kind of at a crawl pace right now, just because you're also trying to be safe as you go through. With it being a little bit damp and it being cold, it's a little slick, and so you don't want to make fall or slip on something and twist an ankle or something. So you're taking your time and being careful as you go, but nothing out of the ordinary as far as scouting.
Do we all have the same speed?
I think so. I think everybody's 30 feet.
Okay.
If you're not, let me know. But
mine's 30.
Yeah, everybody's 30. Yep. Okay. Who's next?
I'll go.
Okay.
So, I something that I'm consciously doing probably the whole time is I'm trying to make sure that we are not leaving any trace of our presence.
Okay.
Keeping nature as it was. So even when we're camping, I'm trying to come behind and make sure that all of the signs of us being there are gone.
Okay.
And then I also would like to heal minor blisters and scratches and cuts that we get along the way during the day
Okay.
that could possibly slow
Sounds
us
good.
further because our feet are hurting.
So, which one would you like to focus on? So you can use one this round. Maybe you can use one the next round. So, which one would you like to focus on the most this time?
I will do the keeping
Cleaning
nature.
up.
Okay.
I would be more concerned with that right off the bat, I think.
All right. So let's go ahead and do a nature check for me.
I rolled an 18 and it's a +3, so 21.
Awesome. So yeah, so as you go, you're sort of making sure that your trail isn't so obvious, but you're also making sure that after camping that you have a safe place or to put the firewood, all the stuff to kind of like make it look as if nobody was there as best you can. So yeah, excellent.
Awesome.
And what about Henrik?
I'm gonna focus on trying to keep up with everybody to make sure that I I don't drag anybody down. I also want to ask: am I familiar? Like, perform watches for us? Like, can it stay up at night while we're
absolutely.
resting?
Do we have a name for your familiar? I keep forgetting to ask.
I named him Bryn.
Bryn. Okay. So yeah, so that's great. So let's do that. Let's have you roll a perception check for Bryn, and this is Bryn keeping watch. And this will be a good way to round out the second day, so that way you guys can get the sleep you need while
That's awesome.
Bryn is watching. So
16.
excellent. Yeah. So Bryn does not wake you up. He lets you guys have a full night's sleep, and everything is well. So he is every once in a while a little distracted by some squirrels and stuff that are running around, and he'll kind of like pounce off, but like he won't leave too far because he knows what he's supposed to do. So he stays near. Excellent. All right. We are now in day, and because you completed the first two, you are making better pace than you have previously. So you may be able to pull this off by only traveling for 4 days instead of 5 because of the way that you're going. So if the next two rounds go well, you get there without having to spend another day on the road. So let's go for this round. So who wants to start? What are some ideas?
I'll go ahead and start.
Okay.
So we're on day 3. I'm sure our feet are barking. So I will do my little thing and kind of heal up our little minor cuts and scrapes and bruises.
All right. Medicine check, please. Great.
$14?
Man, you guys are rolling pretty well.
Is that-
Although,
well, I rolled a 9,
yep,
but I'm high and
it's
Okay,
just
fine.
become too much. And you're with what you've got from the herbalism perspective, unless you want to use, some more of that magical stuff that you were able to brew, you're not able to patch everybody up the way you would like to. So didn't quite go as well as you would have hoped. The blisters are a little bit more than you would have liked. And maybe somebody had kind of did, twist an ankle a little bit while they were going, but it's not causing anybody to fall behind too bad, but just didn't do what you wanted to do.
it's
So
not
that,
miraculous.
yeah, wasn't miraculous on that one.
Oh,
That's all
sorry,
right.
guys. I tried.
Yep. All right. And Henrik.
I'm going to use prestidigitation to try to entertain everybody when we've camped. Or maybe mend any clothing. That can mend clothing, right?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Well,
Small little.
the mending is a cantrip, right? So
Yeah, maybe not. So it can warm water, things
yep,
like that. So
flavor
warm up our
food, yeah,
water, that kind of thing. Yeah,
yeah, awesome.
flavor food.
Yeah, so everybody's spirits are high, and you're able to kind of like entertain everybody with deliciousness in the food and keeping their drinks warm for them by the campfire at night. And if anybody's telling any campfire stories, you have a little sound effect or two that you're able to throw in there as you're going. And yeah, so absolutely, sounds good. All right. Was that everybody on this time, or Melanie? Do you have yours too? Right?
I got nothing.
Got nothing. All right.
I got nothing.
Well, let's think it through. We've got. You were able to get us food for all the days, which was great. You've got the ability to. Oh, what about your knowledge of archaeology that you picked up from your parents? Now, you're not there now, but maybe let's see if when you and Henrik are walking along and he mentions something about the Donran Empire when he sees those obelisks, or mentions that you're going to maybe you recognize something. Let's see if you can recognize anything about the information that you've got so far, since you've got that background a little bit. So
Okay.
So this would be probably history for you.
19.
Excellent. So, not only are you sure that, you're able to confirm right away, not that Henrik didn't know that those obelisks were Donran Empire, but you also think you remember really early on when you were very young that your parents may have been to ruins in this area, and they may have been the Donran ruins that you're going to, but you're not sure. Or maybe they were planning to go. But you remember something about the Donran ruins being in this area. So that information sort of kind of puts some pieces together for the group, and it makes everybody sort of have a little bit more of a focus, and puts it in context for you as people, not just some ancient civilization, but you may have known people that were at this place at some point. So excellent.
Sweet.
All right, so last day.
We're nearing the destination, right? So are there any like I want to cast Misty Step to like teleport up to like a big tree if there's one available. If we
Okay.
get to like a vantage point or something that could be helpful to kind of see the surroundings of when we would know or expect when we're going to be there.
Yeah, yeah. Totally. So you're saying like, will you be able to rest and get get it back? Yeah. So totally could do that. Yeah. So let's go ahead and cast Misty Step and then make a perception check with advantage.
12.
Okay. So even with the 12, because you're high enough, you're able to see that your destination is actually pretty close. You can see that based on the map that you were all given and where you're going, that you're on the right track, and that it looks as if you've only got about a half a day's more travel to get there. But probably still makes sense to rest up and make sure that you're going in fresh.
Yeah. So I'm going to relay that information to everybody.
Great.
And then I guess climb back down the tree since I don't have another Misty Step.
All right. Anybody else have anything?
So give me a second. I thought of something. So we're on the last day?
Yep. So this will be the last day, and then you'll make camp for the night, and then you'll be heading into where you think is supposed to be the ruins based on the map.
Okay.
So we got to skip the
that
day.
night.
If this goes well, you will. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
So that night, as late as everybody's awake, I'm going to cast Good Berry and
Okay.
make 10 berries and give divvy them up, you know, because it lasts
Okay.
20. The berries work for 24 hours. So
They last that long?
yeah,
I gotcha. Okay.
so that's why I wanted to do it at the very end of the night, so that the next day we've got the full, if we need them.
Awesome. Do you want to let them know what
That's a
that'll
good
do?
berry.
Yes. So let me pull up my. So Goodberry is a super cool little handy spell that I think just well, maybe I think maybe just druids get it. But I make 10 berries, and they're infused for magic for 24 hours. A creature you can use your action to eat one. So if you're hungry or if you're in pain, and then it provides enough nourishment to sustain you for a day. It gives you back 1 hit point. So if you're really down, you can pop a berry and it can keep you from going unconscious.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's 1 hit point, but sometimes that 1 hit point is the difference.
Enough.
When
Yeah,
you're
on
fighting
you and death.
something. So
Right. Sounds good.
now with that, Brian, it doesn't specify, but because it sustains you for a day, can you eat more than one?
I don't think you can do more than one. I'll check. Actually, does it say it there?
No. It just says they lose their potency if they have not been consumed within 24 hours of casting the spell.
I would say it's 1.
I mean, because if you
you
can
get
make
the
10,
Yeah, but I think you can get the.
No.
That's true. If you can make 10, yeah, I'll say you can have more than 1. Because the most you could get would be 10 hit points back if you ate all of them, right? But I don't think the effects of would last more than a day. It's not like that's 10 days worth, right?
I mean,
So
you're
the
gonna
only
make yourself sick.
Yeah, so the only thing that it would do
Full,
is
you know, like,
yeah.
you get nauseated.
So the benefit of eating more than 1 is only the hit points. It's not the other stuff.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So I just kind of, I mean, there are 3 of us, so everybody gets 3,
Okay.
and then
You get
Henrik
the extra.
gets an extra,
Mm.
so he gets 4,
Right.
since he might be a tiny squishy.
Are you squishy, Hendrik?
Tiny squishy.
I don't know. I think Hendrik's pretty stout for a wizard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know him. We are getting to know each other, but
There
know,
you go.
I know what Laura is capable of.
Yeah.
And the other thing.
Oh no! Wait,
that-
give the other berry to his familiar Bryn.
Do we know anything about his familiar? Has he told us anything?
I don't know. You can
about
ask him,
whether
Henrik.
he's a real animal.
The familiars, they don't need to eat, right? Do they
No.
need to eat or no?
No.
They're
No.
free, I think.
I'm
There
going
you
to very
go.
cryptically say
He's not
no,
a real fox.
Yeah, he doesn't need food. Very cryptically.
Good to know.
So the good berry is what I want to do to aid us.
Okay.
While we've been doing this, though, since Riva just had this infusion of nature stuff happen, every day along the way, you guys are seeing her turn into stuff. She's trying out different beasts, and she turns into a cat, she turns into a little mouse, and then she turns into a wolf. And then on the last day, she wants to try out this other thing that really she hasn't seen a lot of many druids do. And you see her body go almost translucent and glimmering. She's still in human form, but it's almost like you're looking at the stars. And you can almost make out like an archer and a chalice and like a dragon on her body. She's just trying
Fancy.
things out so that it's not in the moment, and she's freaking out because all this other stuff's happening. So
Awesome. Very
It's
good.
just along the way.
Yeah, no, that's
However.
great. So you're testing out, as you test out stuff, like, some of the animals that you turn into, you got Bryn kind of like runs around and like plays with the animal. And then as you, the constellation-ish type of light that forms through you, it gives off that faint glow. It's just, it
So
feels...
right away, when you're beside me, it's really bright. And then about, was it 10 or 20 feet
Yeah.
out?
Wait, no, is
faint.
that going to cause anything to see us and draw to us?
It's the last night.
Girl.
All right.
You're so dangerous.
Yeah, so for
I'm gonna throw a
the
coat
10
over
foot
you.
radius around me is bright light, and then 10 feet out is dim light.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, Melanie, what you got for the last day?
When she gets bright, I'm gonna throw something over her to keep her from shining everything. So everything's not like, what is that? We gotta go see what that is.
I just
Gonna
get
mute
hit
her a little
with
bit.
a
Yeah, there
bedroll
you go.
or something.
I won't hit you. I'll just, throw a little cloak over you, like, calm down. We don't want to let anything know we're here.
That's so funny. Yeah, that's an automatic success. That's just too good. Yeah. It's just the blanket goes over you. You're like, what the? Oh, that's awesome.
Really?
I still
Alora?
love you. I still love
Really?
you. I'm trying not to get us killed.
All right. Nice. Okay, so you are heading toward, like you said, you're doing this towards the end of as nightfall or in the evening before you're able to get through. So as this happens, let me move into something that all of you can take a look at. But Riva, I want you to especially keep your eyes peeled.
Oh gosh.
Twinkling, the stars wheel overhead, a canopy of light. Your eyes find strange and alluring shapes within the clouds of starlight, constellations depicting gods and heroes of ages past, alongside dragons and villains. Streaks of silver and gold race across the sky, falling stars burning up as they rocket toward the ground, beautiful for a brief moment before their light fades forever. And Riva, sleep takes you. A scene unfolds like a stage play before you. Your mind's eye revealing the silhouettes of trees in a familiar forest. Their limbs creak as the wind weaves through them. Though you surely must be dreaming, you can feel the cool kiss of night air on your face. You smell the rich earth and the sweetness of sap and flowers. You recognize the area as one that you visited many times near Angaro, and the world around you is as you know it. But then it changes. Twisted, shadowed, a dark reflection of the world you know, familiar and unsettling in equal measure. The shadows of this world seem to drink in the light around them, and ash wafts in the air. It's cold here, unnaturally so. A chill seeps through your clothing into your flesh, and you feel the iciness in your very bones. You cannot help but flinch at every sound, at each shadow that dislodges itself from your surroundings. But then you feel another familiar presence, the calming effect of Rahatiel's embrace, reminding that you are never truly alone. She watches after you, and in the morning you awake with both reassurance and determination to push towards your goal.
Okay.
Okay, so that was how night and sleep took you all, but those were the dreams that you had as you were, laying there throughout the night and tossing and turning toward the end of the night, but then feeling that presence of safety again as you were waking up. So, we're going to go ahead and take a break. And then when we come back, we are there. You're at your destination. We're going to check out what it looks like, and we're going to dive into what you do once you reach this this place. So we'll see you back in about 10 minutes. All right.
Sweet.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back, everybody.
Thank you.
Let me music down a little bit. Okay, so maybe you're changing some audio settings or something, or is somebody changing audio? Okay.
Mm-mm. I had just hit mute and unmute.
Oh, okay. All right, so we've got everybody's coming to be awake, and you are in those mountains outside of Thornmoor. And as you look out in the morning, you can tell that the map is telling you to, or the instructions at least, are telling you to venture down into what looks to be a small canyon type of area. And that's where supposedly the entrance is supposed to be to the ruins. There is a stream that's going through the mountains. It seems to go along the same path, as where you're supposed to go. So you've got sort of precarious steps as you move your way through. As we get closer to the stream and the walkway to get to where the canyon is, I'm going to need everybody to make a dexterity check just to see how their footing is as they go down. So this is just a d20 and adding your either acrobatics if you have it, or just a standard dex modifier.
I got a nat 20. 24.
Nice.
Nice.
I rolled
Second.
17, but I have a +3.
All right.
Nice.
8. Boo.
All right, so with the nat 20, we'll say that as you're walking through, you're able to kind of like reach out and hold on to Henrik and Reva to kind of keep yourself from slipping, Alora, as you're walking down. So they were able to kind of make sure that the loose stones that you stepped on didn't cause any issues for the group, and you're able to make it down. So you eventually you are able to see what looks to be sort of this, it's almost like a basin. Well, let me just show you. Here's what it looks like. As you arrive at the site, you find an impressive view before you. A lush canyon that appears almost out of place given the mountains you've traversed. A stream pours over the side of the waterfall, leading your eye to the center of what appears to be a courtyard. A large opening is set into the cobblestones lining the ground, and it appears to be intentionally constructed, since it draws the water as it flows into the canyon. 4 hooded statues stand equidistant from the opening in the center of the courtyard, and at nearly 12 feet tall, it's hard to imagine that these statues could be life-size representations of those who created the place. To your right, you notice a pavilion that was once doubtless an attractive structure at one point, constructed as it was against the canyon's side. Now, with its roof covered in winter moss, even from here you can smell the fragrant aroma of the mint-like scent of the plants. If you weren't standing in the cold chill of the mountain air, it would almost look swampy. To your left lies another structure, likely the guardhouse indicated on your map. It appears to be in worse shape than the pavilion, with a dozen or so of the large tiles either damaged or missing. Then your eyes reach the far side of the cavern, an archway built into the canyon walls and leading into darkness. It must be the entrance to the ruins. 2 knightly statues, similar to those in the center of the courtyard, appear to be carved into the alcoves of either side of the opening. Even now, after so many years after their construction, they seem to serve as a reminder that transgressors are being watched. Okay.
That was super cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
All right. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you like it. So, this is I was telling Crystal that this is like, there are some downsides to having to play D&D online, right? But then there are kind of some upsides. Like, I wouldn't be able to do some of this stuff very easily in person. So it's kind of cool that we have this option. Although I always prefer playing in person over everything, but this is still, it kind of makes it cool to be able to add some of these things in. So hopefully
Makes it
keeps-
more real.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, that's awesome.
Well, and I'm a super visual person, so it helps.
Yeah,
If
me
you just try
too.
to
So that was
describe that, I'd
awesome.
be like, what?
Good. Well, and also I'm hoping to help make it a little bit more 3-dimensional too. It's like a lot of times when you think about going someplace, you think about like a line on the map, and this is really, you're in a very like varying elevations as you've been traveling, and now you're sort of been up in the mountains, and you're still in the mountains, but this is sort of a canyon that goes down below. So this is that what you have been able to see. I'm gonna switch over to a non movie version of this so that we can talk it through in case you have any other questions. Can you guys still hear me okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, everything's come. Okay. So
Yep.
I don't have cameras on this one, but I wanted to at least be able to pull up this this sort of looped video. So again, you're able to see that, and this is basically your vantage point as you come to this. So you've got, sort of a little bit of a steep way down. You're not exactly where the waterfall is. You were able to make your way around the basin to get to this point, and this is the best entrance in, although you're probably going to have to figure out a way to get down. And it's basically, if you imagine what one of the walls look like just from looking at it, it's sort of a sheer, but not too sheer. It's got rocks, and so you could climb down. If you have a rope, you could make your way down as well. It does get into small stream at the bottom. Like the whole area on this side is covered by water from the mountain fall there, but it's not very deep. It's just maybe a half a foot deep. It's just kind of rocky, and it's just that because of the way the hole has been dug out or carved or whatever that well type structure is, it's drawing the water into it, so it's making it so that you could actually walk across this water, although it's moving pretty rapidly. But you first would need to get down there. So just wanted to show this as a way of getting it visual. I'm going to go back to this so we can see each other. So what are your thoughts?
Sorry.
Go
Can
ahead.
we tell where the water that's going past is going?
It's sort of like a pool, and then it's all like it's not. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, so on the left. Let me do this again. So
Yeah.
here, this comes up quite a bit in D&D, so I'm gonna kind of explain this for the people watching and for everybody on the game. So when you're trying to decide whether or not you are going to use the help action or the aid action, whatever way you want to call it, basically what that does is the person performing the check gets advantage, meaning they can roll twice and take the higher. So when it's really beneficial, because either way you're rolling 2 dice, right? Either one person's rolling 2 or you're each rolling 1. So that's really not changing. But what is changing is if you're giving advantage to the person with a higher bonus, then you're more likely to have a good score, right? So whichever one of you has a higher history bonus is the one that should take advantage if you're going to aid somebody, right?
Okay.
But Carrie already rolled, so
Okay.
if you're going to aid him, then he can roll again. If you're going to do it separately, then you can roll. So whichever way you'd like to do it.
Which would you like, Henrik?
I have +6 history.
Okay, so I'll aid you.
Okay. And that's a little bit of metagaming, but in game it would be like, hey, I know he's a scholar. right?
Exactly.
I'm gonna help him.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yep. Metagame always has a little bit of reality in the game. It just depends on how you look at it, right?
Can I cast guidance? It's an ability score, right?
Yes.
No.
No.
Okay.
This is skill.
Skill check.
Yeah, an ability check.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can guide it.
Okay, I'll guide as well, just so that we cover
Okay.
bases.
So so what does he add to his roll?
+4.
+4.
Or a D4.
Or a D4. So you get to roll a D20 and then add a D4 to the whatever you roll, Carrie.
Cool.
And
I
he
might
gets
need
to add my history as well?
No, just the dice. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Just an extra roll.
I gotcha.
14.
Okay.
So 14 plus the other D4 too?
No, 14 total.
Okay. So luckily you're able to tell that this is of Donran make. You're not able to tell much more detail, but you are able to know, okay, this is Donran Empire. So at least you know that these ruins are from that age.
Okay, and do any I guess maybe from this distance we can't tell. I want to see if any areas have been notably more upkept. I know you said the one building was in more. No, I want to see if we can tell if there's any one part of this at the surface before the tunnel that looks like it's more notably upkept than other
Gotcha.
areas.
Okay. Yeah. So go ahead and roll a perception check.
13.
So from here, what you're able to tell is two things. One, that from what appears to be the guard house, from what your notes are that you got from Dean Alexandrin, that one looks like it's falling apart in some areas. Like it was mentioned, the tiles in the roof are either missing or collapsed or something. But also the rest, it's not so much that it's in disrepair, but it's just overgrown with things, right? So a lot of this has been built out of is stone, which mostly stands the test of time. But there are a lot of plant growth around it and moss. What's interesting is that you're in the mountains where it's cold, but this is something that you, especially Riva and Elora, would have been come in contact with before, and it's called winter moss. And winter moss is known to grow in the in colder areas. It's green, it's lush, and it looks as if it's something that would be found in a more of a swampier type of area, but it's not. It's like it definitely is. You're in the mountains. It's rocky and icy, but the looks of this appear to be almost like tropical, but it's not. Right, so the overgrowth is about as much as you can tell. When you get down there, if you go, you'll be able to kind of investigate more, Henrik, and find out if there's anything that has been kept up recently or changed recently. But from here, that's about all you can tell.
Okay, cool. So let's do it. You guys want to go?
Yep, let's go.
All right. So what's the strategy for going down into the canyon?
I'm going to take out the climbing gear that I got.
Okay.
And hook the rope up, and that way we can start scaling down the wall.
Awesome. Okay. So who's going first?
How sheer is the cliff? Is it?
There are handholds, and it's rocky, and so it's sort of like what you can see in the image. It's not like a sheer, completely flat surface, but it's also cold and a little slippery from the water.
Okay.
But there's no crafted way to get down into the hole. Or into the area.
Like a staircase, or like
something that's been kind of like it's part of the build. They would staircase down into it or something.
Good question. No, it doesn't look like there's any constructed way down there.
So does it look like it's sunk there, or was it intentionally built in the way that it is?
It's hard to tell. When you go down, you might be able to find out more. But from what your vantage point says and what you think that it was built this way.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it then.
So could we, since you said that there are like handholds and there's a way to kind of get down, it's not sheer, would it be more beneficial to just wrap the rope around our waist as an anchor point in case we slip? And then climb down?
It's really up to you. You guys can decide that however you want to do it. Like, so you can rappel down with the rope. You can anchor yourself. You've got some rope and some rigging, so you've got like a true climbing apparatus from what you were able to get in the city. So you can definitely use that on the way down. You've got everything.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go first and just put in like the little things that you put inside of the little crevices that you can catch on the way down.
Yep.
Titans or pittons or whatever they're called.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot what they're called. Yeah, but I'll go down first and put those in the right areas and get us down.
Awesome. All right, let's do it. Let's go ahead and roll a. I'll let you choose between athletics or a acrobatics check, whichever one works best for you.
Definitely acrobatics. And I'm falling off that cliff. 7.
All right. So now I'd like now I'd like you to roll a dexterity savings throw to see how this turns out for you. So the saving throw, if you're looking at your sheet, the saving throws are right underneath your stats, and you have, I think for you it's a +5 for your dexterity saving throw.
It's the first box all the way
Dexterity
to the
is
left.
+3.
But for your saving
I'm
throw,
looking in the wrong spot.
that's okay. For your savings throw, it's a here. Let me do this real quick, and I'll show you what I mean.
Yeah, show me what I'm looking at.
We're all having learning moments.
Oh,
guys.
never mind. I see it. I'm sorry. It says saving throws. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And then
It's
it's
your first
+5.
game, girl.
Dexterity is +5. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So yeah, right on, and
Yeah.
it's gonna look different if you're on a phone, but yep, right under.
No, I'm on
there.
the computer.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Sweet. Okay, and which one do I throw?
It's still a 20, so you can roll your 20 and add your 5 to it.
Okay, I'm trying a different dice system. Oh, that's so much better. Okay. 22.
All right, 22 is good. So as you're kind of making your way down, you slip with one of your feet slips, and then you're able to catch yourself quickly with the rope that you had in there, and you did not fall down into the cavern. So great. But you then are able to kind of slowly make your way down to the bottom using the rope. What are the rest of you doing as far as how you're getting down there?
Well, I've seen her do that.
Same
I'm
way.
gonna do that.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and roll either, again, acrobatics or a athletics, whichever one works better for you.
I'm going with acrobatics. My athletics is not good.
I got a 7 as well. You get a 7?
What'd you get?
Yeah, I got a 7. It was a 7.
I got a
Yeah,
13.
You gotta swap dice too. Swap dice.
All right. So Riva, you got a 13, you said?
Yeah.
All right. So 13 is fine. And 7, we're going to roll a dexterity saving throw.
I need to get one of them good berries now. Okay. 21.
Awesome. Yeah, your saving throws are great. So yeah, so you catch on too, and it's if only Alora would have warned you about it being so slippery, you would have seen the same rock she slipped on. No, I was kidding.
Sorry. I was down here. I could catch you.
Yeah. So, but you are able to slowly make your way. All three of you are able to slowly make your way down the side of the cavern there. So you're now in the bottom of sort of this basin, and hopefully the entrance to the ruins. So now that you've reached the bottom, you're sort of standing in a small stream that's going into this crevice on the other side, and then in front of you, and I'll pull up the picture again. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna go to the. I'm gonna stay in the stream if I'm already wet from the creek, and maybe walk up. I want to walk up to the edge of the well. I'm looking to cast light on a stone and kind of throw a stone down the well to see if we can see what's down it.
Okay. All right. So as you move,
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna tell Reva and Laura that I'm gonna walk down this creek and I'm gonna cast light and throw it down the well.
Okay,
Okay,
be
any
careful. You
objections
said the
to that?
stream was swift.
Yep.
I'm just gonna look around and see if I see anything. I don't want anything to surprise us.
Yeah. So go ahead and make a perception check, Riva, and Henrik, hold for a second, and I'll tell you what's going on after she's done.
Oh, I rolled a 6. A 9.
9. So yeah, so you see but what you thought you'd see when you got down here. So it's pretty much, it looks what you'd imagine that it would look like once you got your way down to the bottom.
Okay.
Okay, so Henrik, you're walking towards the center. You get, and you see as you get closer that it is quite a ways down. So you're able to cast light on one of the rocks and send it down into, and it tumbles into the water, and it kind of like sparkles that it's going in the water, and then it goes farther and farther and farther, and you're looking down, and you see the light just going and going and going, and then you don't see the light anymore.
Oh boy.
Okay, guys, we have a bottomless pit here that we probably want to avoid.
Sounds like a plan.
So, as you are dropping it down into the pit, you hear this gravelly like sound. And Henrik, as you look up, the tall statues on all 4 points around turn to look at you and start to move. And I'm going to need everybody to roll for initiative.
Oh, yeah. I got a 17, so that would be 20. I'm going to keep that dice over.
15.
I got 16.
All right, so Riva was 20. Henrik was 16. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And Elora was 15.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Let me put everybody where you are. You guys can see, hopefully. So, Henrik, you were right around here. So you don't see it on this bottom, but there's water on this side too. It's just got cut off when I was making this. But so Henrik, you're about there, setting this down, and Riva and Elora close here. So Riva, you are up first.
Sorry, excuse me, I was sneezing. Do I get a sense of... I mean, I know we just rolled initiative, but does Riva feel like we're in danger?
Yeah, you feel as if these things are moving towards your friend.
Okay, all right. Okay, so...
Romeo would like to rage. I can hear
I
him.
know, I heard you.
Oh my goodness, this cat. So, I am...
We'll let him go
going
first.
to
Yeah.
Go ahead and pull out my little pebbles off in my pouch off of my belt and pull out my sling.
Okay.
I'm going to cast Magic Stone.
Stone on stone, huh?
Well,
Yeah.
my only hope is that it's magical.
All right. I'm with you. I was just making a joke.
Because I'm not, I see them turning and looking at him, but I'm not going to rush in like I did last time because that really backfired for me. So,
Okay.
and then I'll fling one at the one, so not the one across the stream, but the front one on the left. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna do this. because it'll be easier when I can actually move some stuff. Okay, so you're going for this guy?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so you can see that it's about, all of them are about 12 feet tall. And they start moving. As they start moving, you start to see them a little bit more clearly, especially from the distance that you had before. And they appear almost lifelike. They're stone, but they appear like it's not just chiseled. It's like they grew this way almost, or something. It's uncanny how much they look realistic. So, go ahead and roll for your attack.
I almost, since you're saying they look really realistic, I almost want to try to talk to him first.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
they're advancing on him, so
yep.
I don't want to waste my turn. Okay, so I'll say, Henrik, watch out, and I'll lob a stone.
So are you throwing it or using a sling?
I'm using my sling.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and roll.
Ooh, I rolled 18 plus 5, so good.
Yeah, it hits him.
And then target takes bludgeoning damage equal to 1d6 plus spellcaster modifier. So that's plus 5.
5 points of damage. So yeah, you can tell it hits, and then pieces of stone come off of its shoulder, and then hit the ground and almost liquefy. Yeah. All right. Let's see, Henrik, you're up.
All 4 of them are moving towards us.
Yeah. It was almost like whenever you threw the stone into the in the well, for lack of a better term, they started moving that way. They recognized you being there, and then they started moving.
Yeah, they love their bottomless pit.
Yep.
So I got a question. I want to cast grease.
Okay.
So it basically knocks someone prone, right? But are they close enough to the edge that we could try to use that to our advantage in some way to push them into the hole?
Yeah, I mean, you can certainly try all that. So, if you want to move them, you would then have to have some type of force to move them in. But yeah, you could try that.
Yeah, like a gust. I don't know if you guys have gust of wind or something like that, or if they're even light enough that it would work. But I'm going to, because the other guy's got to walk through the creek, right, to get to us.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then the other guy's far enough away. So I'm going to cast grease on the guy that's right on top of me.
This one or this one?
The other one.
The one that
Left?
I
Is that the one that she just hit?
Yes.
Reva just hit?
Yep.
Yeah, let's cast grease underneath that guy. So it's a 10-foot square. So I guess it'll be just under that one, right?
Yep. So let's do this. So we got.
So he's got a attack, or he's got a pass a saving throw where he's going to fall prone.
So something like this.
Yeah.
Closer to the hole.
Or do you want the other way?
I would a little higher, so the other guy, if he walks into it, he'll fall prone too.
Okay.
So same thing, but a little higher. Maybe with the guy on the edge of it instead of vice versa. On the other edge of it, yeah.
Got it. Well, for some reason. Something like that? Or up this way? Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Kind of trying to protect us from the other guy too, maybe.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good. So what's the effect of grease?
So, creatures standing in its area must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or fall prone. Any creature that enters the area or ends its turn there must also succeed a dexterity saving throw or fall prone.
All right. Our guy is prone.
Okay.
Nice. So it's like started moving in your direction, then like foot hit the grease underneath, and just fell on its back, and just was like stuck there for a second. Awesome.
Cool.
Right, we have now Alora. You are up.
Okay, so when he fell, did he get back up?
Nope, he's still
or
on the
is he
ground.
Still laying down.
Still on the ground.
Okay. Can he get up?
On his turn,
Okay.
but not until it's his turn.
Well, while he's laying down, I'm just going to go around the grease and try and push him in the hole.
Got it. So let's go ahead and make a strength check. Or actually, you can use an attack to shove. Let me do this. We'll all learn together. So shoving a creature, you use the attack action, make a special melee attack, and you either knock it prone or push it away from you if you're able to make multiple attacks. All right, so you need to. It must be no more than one size larger. With it's not. It's one size larger. So you make an attack roll, and it's an opposed strength check. So you're gonna roll and add your strength modifier.
And the strength modifier is the ones at the top.
Yep.
Like you got strength, dexterity, constitution.
Yep, that's the one. So
Yeah.
plus whatever that says.
11.
So 11 total?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it didn't quite, he didn't quite get into the pit. He moved a little bit. He's still in the grease, though, so.
Okay.
But that was good effort. I like the idea. So you're able to, shove him into where he's trying to go, and he skipped a little bit, but just as before he goes over the edge, his arm goes, and he holds on, and it keeps himself from going into the well. Now, we've got these creatures, these statues that are attacking. So, and you'll have to excuse that this guy's still there. He's really this guy. I just can't change that image. So, and he's not growing. He's just a regular dude.
He's getting so big.
Yeah. So he's moving this way. He's moving this way. He's moving this way. First one is going to try to hit Henrik. So from his side, he's pulling out this sword that's built into this, well, you thought was built into the statue. And Henrik, he's coming down at you with his sword. Yeah. That's a 14 to hit.
Yeah. Don't scare me with that, man.
So does that hit you? 14?
I have a 14.
Oh, 14 armor class. So yes, you are hit. So that is 4 points of damage, slashing damage. So it's sort of a scimitar that's type shape. It's like a curved sword, which a good thing is you can immediately tell that it's Donran Empire as it comes down at you and makes the attack.
For later?
Yeah.
That's the scholar in you. You're like,
Yep.
Yeah.
Alora, the one that came up on the other side of you, attacks for, he rolled a 15. Does a 15 hit your armor class?
Yes.
Okay. And that is 5 points of damage. So again, with another sword attack, just like swiping through with these massive swords that they have, so they can. It seems like they're twice the size of a normal sword, just based on the fact that these statues are so big. And then, that's all the movement that I've got. This guy's going to stand up, and that's half his movement, and he's going to take a swing at you as well, Alora. But when he starts his turn, if he gets up again, Carrie, does he have to roll to see if he falls down?
If he ends his turn within the grease still, then he has to roll again.
Okay, so on the end of this, I have to roll. Okay. So, 13? Does a 13 hit your armor class?
No.
All right, so he missed. And a natural 1, he falls down again. So, he's down on the ground. Grease is doing its job. All right, this guy can't move any farther, so it's back up top of the order. So we've got Riva.
Okay, so seeing that, I hit him a minute ago, but I'm kind of thinking, okay, all right, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Let me bonus action, change into my starry form. So
Okay.
Riva becomes luminescent. There's light. And you see the archer light up on her body.
All right.
So I
so
can...
all of these bright lights start to form. The constellations take shape. Her form changes, and then light starts to emanate from her body as she does this. And then you take the archer form.
Yes.
Okay.
And it says on activation and as a bonus action,
Okay.
I can make a ranged spell attack 1d8 plus 3.
So on activation this round, it'll be bonus actions on subsequent rounds. Okay.
Yes.
So go ahead for your spells. Who are you attacking?
I am going to attack with this attack. I'm going to attack the one that is hitting Henrik.
This guy?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a 60 feet. I have 60 feet with that.
Okay.
Am I okay, or do I
So
need to come up
5,
some?
10, 50. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay. All right. It's 1d8 plus 3.
Yep. Does he have to roll a saving throw, or is there an attack roll? What's your attack with
It
this?
just says I make a ranged spell attack.
Okay, so then that means you're rolling and adding your spell attack modifier.
Okay. $15?
15 hits.
Oh, okay.
So the energy, is it like when you do this, is it like you're drawing a bow, or how explain how this works?
Yes, so I would like it to be like she's mimicking pulling back a bow.
Okay. And the bolt comes across and hits it. And how much?
And if I can, flavored wise,
Yeah.
it is I'm hurling a luminous arrow.
Yeah.
So it would be, I want to mimic the bow, and then the arrow is just stars and it lights up.
Awesome. Yeah. So the starry formed arrow just goes back, hits him square in the chest. What's the damage on that?
I rolled an 8. So 8 plus 3, and radiant damage. 11.
You see as it hits him in the chest, and then he crumbles to the ground on his knees.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And then I'm just trying to figure out how this works, because that's my bonus action, so I still have an action.
Yep. And a move.
Right, in a movement. How do I go from that? So, Let me see. It is. Okay, so then I'm going to try to hit the one on Alora. Can I then? I'm still in my starry form, but
Right.
I had my sling and my pebbles.
So you can still use that, right?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
the pebbles last for the rounds, so I'll try to.
He's about 25 feet away, so as long as you can reach him, then you're good.
Let me make sure. With my sling. It is 30 feet, and
Okay.
then 120 is disadvantage.
Okay.
Okay. And that's with my pebbles. Sorry, I'm trying to.
Okay, did you roll your attack?
Not yet.
Okay.
I rolled a 14 plus 5. 19.
19 hits.
And then my pebbles are 1d6. I rolled 2, so, and then plus my spellcast modifier, which is 3. So 5.
All right, so again, that one you hit, and then you see, like, you know, almost like little pieces of rock and pebbles come off of them and then liquefy as they hit the ground. And any movement?
Yes, I would like to come up and get kind of behind Alora. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And with that, it is Henrik's turn.
The guy next to Laura is still prone, right?
Yes.
I want to cast Ice Knife on him.
Okay.
Like
Does prone mean I get advantage on the attack roll? What does prone mean?
It's disadvantage for ranged attacks. It's advantage if you're doing a melee attack.
Okay, so that is a ranged attack, huh?
Yep.
So maybe I want to adjust my thinking here.
Or you could hit a different person that's not prone too. So it just depends on whatever.
Yeah. Okay. It's 2-on-2, so I'm gonna turn to the one that's behind us.
Okay.
Across the creek.
Yep.
And I'm gonna cast Ice Knife against him.
All right.
18.
18 hits. So.
Nice.
Okay, so
Die, stone beast.
So 7 points of damage. 7 points damage, and then it does something else. Each creature within 5 feet must succeed in a dexterity saving throw or take 2d6 cold damage.
All right. So
The
that
target each creature.
the target.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so one take piercing damage, and then the thing explodes, and then he takes an additional 2d6 cold damage if he fails a dexterity saving throw.
I rolled a 12 on my saving throw. What's your spell class DC or your spell saving throw?
Does it? It says attack save dex 14. Is that what my spell DC is?
Yep. So for you it's 14 for your spell. So he failed. So
Score. So that's an extra 2d6 of damage that he takes.
oof, nice. Bringing the cold.
9.
Yeah. So the ice knife launches into him and it pierces through, but then for a second it like starts to freeze even more the stone like of his chest, and then just as you see the ice start to expand out all over him, then it goes and explodes, and his chest just like comes to pieces and he falls down.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice. Hey, did I also just side note? When Riva turned into like the starry thing,
Yep.
is that something that I would have knowledge about? Is that like was it like new and interesting, like a question that I would want to ask her later about?
You've seen something similar as you were traveling, like she was trying out some new things, so you know it was something that she could do. But roll an Arcana check to see if you know what that is.
Nope. 9.
Yeah, so you're not sure exactly, but you do remember her doing it and practicing, so it may be something that you want to ask her about later.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious if that's something like in my travels, if I know is common, like in this world or whatnot, or
Yeah.
if it's that's unique.
Yeah, totally not something that you've seen before. So, but definitely cool. It's just not something that you've come across.
Okay, cool.
All right,
And that's
so that
just,
was you've got. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's a bit typical of my character to be thinking about stupid things like that in combat.
Yeah, like just being curious about like
Yeah.
that makes sense. Totally. So you did your action. Do you have any bonus actions or movement that you would like to do?
Not at the moment.
So you're gonna stay there. Okay.
Yes, I will stay there.
All right. It is now Alora's turn.
Okay, how close am I to each opponent?
You are right there, so you're basically within a few feet of each one of them.
Okay.
Although one of them's on the ground.
I guess what I'll do is take my short sword
Okay.
and try and hit the one closest to me.
They're both about the same, so you can either go for the one on the ground. Do you have advantage on that one if you do? So because he's prone.
Mhm.
So
Okay, let's do that.
So you get to roll twice and pick the higher one.
Okay, cool.
Always good.
And do I add anything to that?
Your whatever it says for your short sword. So let's see.
Short sword. Okay, so 14.
Awesome. So that hits, and go ahead and let's roll your damage.
And which one is that? Still a 20?
The damage is going to be for. So let me go over. I'll show you. So we've got
Okay.
campaigns. So when you're rolling for your damage, so if you come in, you see short sword, and then you had +5 to hit with it, and then your damage is 1d6,
Six.
and then you add
Okay.
3 to whatever you roll.
Okay. 9.
Nice.
In
So
total.
as you like pierce down with your short sword, it's similar to what you saw before, where like it starts like breaking in, and then as rubble starts falling off, it starts to liquefy, and it's like because of the angle that sort of went in through like the side of his chest, right into the center of him, and he just falls limp.
Nice.
Now, when that happens, do their bodies liquefy?
No, they're mostly there, like except for the ones that kind of exploded. They're mostly
The stuff
still
that
there.
chips off.
Yeah. Roll a. Arcana check.
18?
I'm sorry?
18.
18. You think they're bleeding.
Oh.
Cool.
I think that's their blood.
Yeah.
What's flying off and liquefying.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Laura,
Now, can I move?
you definitely can move. Where would you like to go?
Down next to Reva.
Okay.
Not in the grease. There you go.
There we go. Okay.
I'll be sliding right on in the hole. Whee!
All right. Yeah, we won't put you there.
Pushers.
And he's coming in. He's going after you, Alora. Whoops, it just knocked something over. So, does a 16 hit you?
Yes.
And that is So he comes down with a swipe of his sword, and that is 6 points of damage. Crazy thing is they don't seem to be showing a ton of emotion, except when they attack. When they attack, you can like the look on their face is, but they don't really. Even when they get hurt, they're not like. It doesn't look like pain. All right, and he's gonna stay. Actually, no, he's gonna move this way. When he moves over this way, both of you get an attack of opportunity.
Yes.
I'll leave him here until he gets away, because.
And that would be a no. I rolled a 2.
All right.
I mean, so even with a +5 with my dagger, it's not.
No. So yeah, Melanie, if you want to try to, you get a free swing on him if you want to hit him as he's running away.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So your short sword. So it looks like it's a
22.
Whoa! Yes, you hit him. Go ahead and roll your short sword damage again.
Six.
And
No,
as
wait. Sorry. Wait. That's wrong.
that's okay.
4. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's still good enough. He like as he's starting to move away, you pierce him in the back, and he falls to his knees and slumps over. And another statue is gone. So
We have one left.
nope. That is
That's
all
all,
of
I
them.
think.
Got him.
We got them all?
Yes.
That was all of them.
Woohoo.
What before they died, Brian, did they look to be breathing at all?
They did not look to be breathing, from what you could tell. It's a good question.
Okay. Can I chip off a sample of one of them?
Yeah, you can definitely do that. So as you go to kind of grab a piece, you want one that's already off, or like you're gonna try to chip one off the body?
Oh, well, I mean, I don't want to disturb the dead, so if there's already a chip, well, I kind of want both. I want a chip and I want some of the blood stuff.
Yeah, there are
In the vial.
plenty that you saw like fly off, and then you can grab some of those, and then you can chisel off like a couple.
Maybe I
pieces
could do
without
that.
problem.
I've got some, like a vial or like a potion bottle, just to put some blood and a couple chips or pieces in it.
Okay.
Stop
yeah.
it.
So when it's the liquid is almost like the consistence. It's grayish, stonish color. It still looks the same color as them, but its consistency is almost like mercury.
Cool. Well, I'll be careful when I'm touching it.
Yeah.
Or I'll not touch it. I'll just use my vial or whatnot.
Does it melt the glass?
That's a good question. It stays in. It doesn't melt the glass.
Cool. All right. So after doing stand up, good job, guys.
Yeah.
Pretty good challenge for us. I think we did pretty well.
Yes.
Riva seeing Henrik do that is going to pull out a vial and do the same thing, just in case it comes in handy for a potion one day.
Okay. Sure.
You know, random ingredient you can kind of tuck away and maybe use for something later. But
I'm gonna
good
eat a
idea.
berry.
Yeah. You're gonna start munching on some berries. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Awesome.
So they
And
must
then
have
I'm
really
also
liked
gonna make sure we have water since we're at a water source.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Laura, as you check out the water, it looks crystal clear. It's perfect. It's coming straight from the mountain streams. So it looks like higher up before it flows into whatever this is probably a good place to get it. But you've got a good water source here.
Is it
Okay,
cold?
awesome.
Yes, it is very cold.
I was just wondering, since the winter moss is, it's a little bit more tropical, I didn't know how cold the water would be.
Yeah, and that it kind of reminds me to let you know that you're all kind of chilly at this point from stepping through the water and everything here. It's like it's kind of making you a little bit,
Okay, so let's
After
make
the
a fire
adrenaline
and warm
fades.
up.
I'm sorry. I missed one person. I got, let's get a fire and warm up, and then Henrik, I think I missed yours.
Yeah, sorry, Melanie. I was just gonna say after the adrenaline wore off, we're all cold now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's kind of exactly what it's like. Yeah. Okay, so
Is it possible
Yeah.
to use Druidcraft to warm us?
um,
I can create light or snuff out a candle, a torch, or a small campfire, but I didn't know if I could. It's a tiny, harmless sensory effect. I can create instantaneous, harmless sensory effect, falling leaves, puff of wind. So, can I do a? If I could do a puff of wind, can I do a wave of warmth?
Sure. I think it's cool. Let's do it. So, like, you just like
Okay,
create a
so-
puff of wind, but it's
Yeah,
warm
I
air.
just kind of,
Yeah.
I just kind of.
To dry us off. Yeah.
Well, we're a little chilly. I don't know if it'll necessarily dry us, but it'll make us still not as cold.
Yeah, that's cool. It kind of takes the bite out and just like a warm breeze in the middle of all of this
Yeah.
winter. You know.
Bones warm
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Very cool. Okay, now that you're in this area, what's your goal now that you're in here?
Yeah.
Well, are
So
we
now that we
really
got a closer
close
look,
to
can
that?
we?
Sorry, go ahead, Carrie.
Oh, just now that we got a closer look, we can see are both of the buildings kind of there? Is there any evidence that anything's been recently used? Are they both in similar states of disrepair?
So go ahead and roll an investigation check for me. And if anybody wants to help
I'll
this,
Guide
then
him.
guidance. Okay, so you get an extra D4.
Okay. Do they have a take 10 in this in 5e?
No, but you can't really go lower than your passive, right?
Okay.
Like,
I got this is what again? Investigation.
investigation. I mean,
19.
you can go lower than your passive if you're actually trying to look for a certain thing. But like if you're walking around, then I'll know because of your passive scores what you're going to notice, right? Like so, for example, if I see something that is, let me just pull up. I've got Alora's sheet up. So if I look at Alora, she has a really good passive perception. She has a 17 passive perception. So if anybody's hiding and they only rolled a 15, she's going to notice them without even rolling. Right? So same thing for investigation. Like she has a 13. You're passive. Sorry, let's go back over this. Good teachable moments. So if I wanted to look up at your, so Henrik has a passive investigation of 14. So just being in an area of things you would notice and perceive, like the Sherlock Holmes type factor, right? Like if you're just noticing things, you've already got a 14. So if there's something that I have with a DC lower than 14, you're going to notice it and be able to figure it out. But if you are actively trying to do something, your low roll can mess you up because you're actively trying to do it, right? Like so, just know that if I don't mention something, then it's probably because you didn't passively see it already, or I didn't think of it, like it wasn't something I had conceived of yet. So that's also a factor because I can't think of everything. So just something to think about.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So I got a 19.
awesome. So here's what you notice right off the bat. It looks as if it's been abandoned for years. You haven't seen any trace of people that have walked through it. It doesn't look like it's been kept up. It looks like it's just overgrown. And at least within the last several weeks, you haven't seen anything, or probably months, maybe even years. You haven't noticed anything in this area. What you do notice is by looking through the area, you see something at the front, or not the front, but toward the entrance. There are two statues on either side of the archway that leads into sort of an underground entrance into these ruins. These statues did not appear to move, and they are actually carved from the rock face. So it appears, at least, Henrik, that you are fairly confident that these aren't going to start moving or something because they're part of the rock itself. And you also notice that these statues appear to be carved statues, meaning they don't look as lifelike. as the ones that attacked you. So you, from looking through the area, you can kind of tell that maybe what was there standing weren't always statues. Maybe they were something else before. But you're not sure. You don't know what magic that is. You've never seen that before. But it looks different from the ones that you have. Oop, lost Riva. She'll be back. While we wait.
Yeah, so I guess we could talk about what to do next. Like if we want to rest here, kind of rest up, or we want to go into the cavern, maybe check all the outside stuff first before we venture into the cave.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I think is probably a good choice for you guys. What, Alora, what are you, or I'll let you two talk it through while we're waiting on.
I would like to
You
take
want to check
some
one building?
in the moment notes of our encounter.
Okay.
All right.
I'll check out some of the buildings while we wait.
Sorry.
See if
my
I see
thing froze
anything
up.
useful.
I was able to get back in just now. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. You didn't miss much. We were just saying what we were going to do is check around the area. So Alora is going to check around. So go ahead and roll an investigation check, Alora. And Riva, if you want to look around for stuff too, go ahead and do that as well. Just checking out that.
We're where we were. We're the closest to that. You said it was a guard station.
Yep.
On the left. Okay, so I'll just go over there and kind of try to look around.
Okay.
See if I see any. I'm not going to go inside, but if there's any doors that are open or windows that are open, if it's in disrepair, I just want to kind of peer in.
Okay. What'd you get?
I got a 10.
Got a 10. Okay, so even with that, you are able to see most of the stuff. You can kind of confirm a lot of what Henrik saw, although you didn't see a lot of the detail in the statues up at the front, but you're still able to kind of tell that the area is still pretty empty. It doesn't look like there's anything left behind. Allura, especially over by where the pavilion that was built into the side of the wall, there's still not much in there. There appears to be sort of like a stone table or two that were like put in there that maybe at one point you can kind of tell were used as a gathering area to kind of sit around, but nothing else other than that. And Riva, as you look at what is probably the guardhouse, a similar thing, although the doors for this must have been wood at some point. They're not there anymore. So like you see the doorways, but there's no door there. Maybe the elements, you're not sure. But it seems to be completely empty. Again, there's stone tables that are inside the guardhouse, but nothing else inside there that you can see. One thing with the Henrik, you did notice something inscribed when you were kind of looking around everything towards the front between the two statues above the entrance. You saw something inscribed there, but it doesn't appear to be original. It appears like somebody chiseled it in or marked it in somehow after the fact, but it's not a language that you read.
Is it one I read?
He'll have to tell you about it, and then we'll see.
Mm.
Yeah. Hey, can someone read this? I see some writing above it's above the entranceway, right? Into the cavern. Yeah, so I'm gonna see if anyone else can read it.
Okay.
I'll walk over.
Yep, I'm going to.
Yep. So you come up to where that is, and let me check something real quick.
Does it look like they're ancient runes?
They're not ancient runes. They are definitely not new, but they're much newer than the building. So in other words, they may be a couple years or several years old, maybe up to 30 years old or something, but they're definitely not hundreds and hundreds of years old.
Got it.
So let me check something real quick. Sorry. Okay. So you see, Allura, when you walk up, you immediately read, and it's not Elvish that is known to most people today. Although not everybody else, I don't think anybody else speaks Elvish except for you, but it's an older Elvish script. What catches your eye, though, is that it is in a script, literally, like in a handwriting into the stone that you've seen before, and your heart kind of drops into the pit of your stomach as you realize that it's your mother's handwriting. And it says Alora written in her script above the thing.
Okay. So I'm going to go and then tell Henrik and Reva that it's my mother's writing and it's my name.
And we're going to end it there. And we'll pick up next time.
No, I don't know if it says anything else. Does it just say Alora?
Just says Alora.
It's just getting juicy.
I know. Oh my gosh. You got to leave us on that cliffhanger.
Yeah, well, I got to have you coming back. So.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm worried we killed those guys too easy, so the next encounter is going to be super hard.
We'll see how it goes.
So cliffhanger, a bunch of shocked faces.
Yeah.
I'll be pulling out my book, my journal.
Yep.
There you go.
Doing a rubbing.
I'm just going to be too awed to speak.
Awesome. You guys get great. Let's we'll call it a night. Hang on after we finish, just so we can catch up for a few minutes to kind of figure out what we're going to do. We're going to also, actually, before we do this, you're all going to need to roll for hit points again. We're going up to 3 already. And it might be a while that you're going to be at 3, but we're going to get you to 3rd level before you enter into this ruin. So I think you're going to need it. So let's roll some hit points. Yes.
Okay, hit points is 20, right?
No. Your hit points for you is going to be I think it's a 10 for a ranger. So you roll a 10-sider for you, and then we'll add that in later.
Mine's a 1d8. Per 1d8 per druid level.
All you have to do is roll an 8.
Okay.
And so you roll an 8, Melanie rolls a 10, and Carrie, I think, roll a 6, right?
Yep.
I got 82.
So not percentile, just a 10-sider, just one 10-sider.
Okay.
That's okay.
Let me redo that then. Yeah, 2.
Okay, 2. What'd you get, Crystal?
4.
4. Carrie?
I got a 4 as well.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
well, we will.
Gonna have to heal me.
Yeah, we'll work on that. If you want, we can end with you guys camping here, if we want to do that, or do we have a safe place?
Yeah,
Anybody?
let's try off.
Could we go into the guard house? And
Okay.
camp?
Okay. Sure. Anybody else have any ideas about camping anywhere?
Yeah, guardhouse works for
Which
me.
one was the construction better in?
The guardhouse. Well,
Yeah, no, it was the other side.
the guardhouse. It's got more walls. The other pavilion's open.
Okay.
It's just
I
got a
was
roof.
worried because I didn't go in there, whether it was safe or not. I just looked and thought it was. So,
It's safe enough that if you want, but
Okay.
again, that's dependent on anybody else that shows up, right? So, all right. We will. You guys hang on for a few minutes after we close out the stream. Everybody else that's watching, if you're watching now or watching in the future after it's recording, thank you for watching. I will be doing a behind the screens video to go along with this, just like I did for the first. These guys can't watch it, but you can. So check out the behind the screens, and you'll see how I planned, how I changed things on the fly, if I did, and how everything worked together. So everybody have a great night.
thank you.
Bye.
Thanks all.
Bye.
Bye.